How can we save South Africa from the ANC government? Essay. This is my essay.
We are in trouble, and I think we need to have a real national dialogue, not the circus at UNISA, but a real one, and say, guys, one, how do we protect South Africa from the ANC? That must be the biggest question, because the ANC is South Africa's national problem. We must face this the question and say, how do we protect ourselves from the ANC, our country, number one? And who among us can step into the vacuum and lead us? Because Ramaphosa and the ANC, as I said, they've totally lost credibility. They have even forgotten that they are supposed to lead society. So we must face our crisis. If we don't face it, we don't acknowledge it, we mince our words, our country will continue to slide into disaster.
South Africa stands today at a crossroads. A nation that once inspired the world with its courage, unity, and hope has become a place of disappointment, frustration, and despair. The African National Congress, the very party that once led the liberation struggle with pride and dignity, has now become a shadow of its former self. It is no longer the movement of the people, but rather a machine of self enrichment, corruption, and betrayal. The ANC government has failed the people of South Africa. And what we are witnessing today is not just political decay, it is the collapse of a dream that millions once believed in. For years, the people of this country placed their faith in the ANC, believing that it carried the spirit of Mandela, Tambo, Sisulu, and the likes, and all of those who fought for justice and equality. But that spirit has long vanished. The party that once stood for liberation now stands for looting. The leaders who were once servants of the people are now servants of themselves. Their pockets are full while our hospitals are empty. Their families live in luxury while our youth live in poverty. Their speeches are full of promises, but their actions are full of lies. Every scandal, every misused fund, every rigged tender, every failing state owned enterprise tells one story, that the ANC has betrayed the nation. South Africa's infrastructure is falling apart. Our cities are dark because Eskom cannot keep the lights on. Our water systems are polluted because municipalities are run into the ground. Our roads are filled with potholes. Our trains have been stripped bare. Our hospitals are understaffed and our schools are collapsing. The ANC has had over 30 years to prove itself. And what have we received in return? Load shedding, unemployment, crime, and hopelessness. They have turned South Africa into a land of survivors instead of citizens. People who fight daily just to get by. The saddest part is that the ANC still believes it is untouchable. They believe that no matter how much they fail, the people will continue to vote for them out of loyalty or fear. But that time is coming to an end. South Africans are waking up, the poor, the middle class, the youth. Everyone is realizing that the ANC has no solutions left. They no longer represent the people, they represent power for the sake of power. They are obsessed with controlling the country even as they destroy it. But the question remains, how do we save South Africa from the ANC? The answer is not simple, but it begins with one thing: courage. We must have the courage to tell the truth, the courage to say enough is enough, the courage to vote differently, to think differently, and to act differently. For too long, people have feared change, believing that without the ANC, chaos would follow. But look around, chaos is already here. The collapse has already begun under the ANC's watch. What more proof do we need? Our youth are jobless, our graduates are hopeless, and our communities are lawless. If we do nothing, the decay will only deepen. We save South Africa by reclaiming our power as citizens. Democracy was never meant to be a one-party system. The people are the highest authority in the land, not the politicians. We must remind ourselves that government exists to serve us, not the other way around. The first step is awareness. South Africans must understand how corruption steals their future. Every rand stolen from a state project is a child denied an education. Every tender looted is a hospital left without medicine. Every bribe accepted is a job lost. Corruption is not just theft, it is murder. It kills dreams, it kills hope, it kills progress. We must hold leaders accountable. It is time for communities to demand transparency from local municipalities, to attend meetings, to ask questions, and to record everything. The age of blind loyalty must end. We cannot continue to reward failure. We must build a new political culture, one based on merit, not slogans, on service, not struggle songs. The liberation struggle is over. The new struggle is for survival, justice, and economic dignity. Saving South Africa from the ANC also means empowering the youth. The young generation must no longer be spectators in their own country. They must be builders, innovators, and leaders. It is time to shift the mindset from dependence on government to independence of thought. Young people must create, organize, and lead movements that prioritize accountability, employment, and education. The future cannot be built by those who are stuck in the past. The ANC has become an organization of the old ideas, old excuses, old failures. South Africa needs renewal, and renewal starts with the youth. But we cannot rely on politics. Real change also starts in communities. If the government cannot provide, then citizens must organize. If the municipalities cannot clean the streets, communities must unite and do it themselves. If the police cannot protect us, we must form community watches. If schools are broken, we must rebuild them together. That spirit of Ubuntu, that collective power of ordinary people, is what the ANC has destroyed and what we must bring back. We must restore the belief that the people are stronger than the politicians. The media also has a role to play. Too many journalists have been silenced by fear or influence, but the truth must be told, no matter how uncomfortable it is. The media must expose the rot without bias, and the citizens must support independent voices that speak truth to power. The ANC thrives in darkness. It hides behind slogans and propaganda. Economically, we must rethink everything. The ANC's policies have destroyed investor confidence. Their obsession with control has chased away businesses, and their corruption has drained every institution. We need a government that values growth, not greed. One that supports entrepreneurs instead of exploiting them. One that empowers black South Africans through real opportunity, not through politically connected tenders. True empowerment is not about who you know, it is about what you can build. Saving South Africa also means confronting the culture of fear. Many South Africans are afraid to speak because they fear being labeled, attacked, or silenced. But silence is what the corrupt rely on. Every voice that stays quiet gives them more power. We must rise in numbers, in unity, and in purpose. The fight for a new South Africa begins in our hearts. It begins when we decide that we deserve better. The ANC no longer knows what leadership means. Leadership is service, sacrifice, and accountability. But the ANC's leadership is built on greed, arrogance, and denial. They pretend that everything is fine while the country burns. They blame apartheid, global markets, and opposition parties, but never themselves. A true leader accepts responsibility, but the ANC's leaders run from it. That is why we must no longer wait for them to change. We must change the system ourselves. South Africa's greatness is still there, hidden beneath the corruption, the crime, and the despair. Our people are strong. Our land is rich. Our potential is endless. We need a government that works for the people, not a party that uses the people. We must stop worshipping history and start building the future. The ANC gave us freedom, yes, but freedom without accountability is not progress. It is an illusion. We must now liberate ourselves from the ANC's grip. Every generation has its struggle. For our generation, the struggle is not against apartheid, but against corruption and betrayal. It is a struggle for dignity, for fairness, for opportunity. We must fight it with our votes, with our voices, and with our actions. We must demand clean governance, ethical leadership, and transparent institutions. We must rebuild ESCOM, fix Transnet, revive education, and create real jobs, not through slogans, but through competence and integrity. The world is watching South Africa, wondering if we can rise again. And we can, but not with the ANC. The time has come to build a new chapter, one where no party is above the law, one where every leader knows that power belongs to the people. The ANC has had its time and it has failed. The future belongs to those who are ready to lead with honesty and vision. We must take back our country before it's too late. So, how do we save South Africa from the ANC? We save it by believing in ourselves again, by refusing to be divided, by standing together as South Africans. Black, white, colored, Indian, united by a common dream of a better nation. We save it by voting for change, demanding justice, and rebuilding hope. The ANC has forgotten its purpose, but we have not forgotten ours. Our purpose is to protect our land, our children, and our future. South Africa belongs to us, not to corrupt politicians. It is time to take it back. Essay. This is my essay.